It's 1962. The Beatles come to America. They've come up with one song, I Want to Hold Your Hand, which everybody had. It sold like 50 million copies, if I remember the number right. But suddenly they're going on Ed Sullivan. Now, back in the prehistoric days, there were only 3 channels, ABC, NBC, and CBS, but he owned Sunday night, and my whole family sat and watched Ed Sullivan. But I didn't just watch it. It was a brand that commands. These guys had moppy, floppy hair, they said. The 4 Beatles, I know their names, I can do them. We're watching it, and I'm just glued to the set because I'm told there are 70 million people my age watching the Beatles perform in America for the first time because they had a great promoter that promoted them. They had a great orchestrator that orchestrated them. And I am just so touched. The kid I grew up with and been in every class with since I was 4 years old, Gary Youngberg, another little Scandinavian kid with blonde hair and blue eyes. I call up my best buddy that we bicycled together, we brought motorcycles together, we did everything. We traveled together, we went scuba diving together. There's nothing that we didn't do together. I call up Gary and I said, Gary, do you see the Beatles? He said, yeah, they're wow. I said, we're starting a rock group. He said, what do you play? I said, nothing. I said, what do you play? He said, nothing. I said, then we're qualified. He said, how can you say that? I said, look at Ringo. Now, Ringo is one of the greatest percussionists of all, drummers of all times. The fact of the matter is, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to be a celebrity. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to play music. I wanted to have my name on a band. I wanted to have more fun than anybody else because those guys look like they're having fun. I bought every magazine that was in them. I bought their little playing cards. Like before that had been Elvis Presley. I knew I couldn't sing, but I knew I could aggrandize a group, get today what we call a mastermind alliance, 2 get to power of 11. Well, I got Gary with me. He bought the 4th electric organ ever in America and learned how to play in 2 weeks. I got a bass guitar and learned in 2 weeks. We got a lead guitarist that was 15 years old named Killer. His real name's Greg Simmons, who had a scar on his face, so they call him Killer. But this guy was a musical prodigy. He could hear something once, implode it into his little brain and tell you how to play it, how to orchestrate it, and how to do it, sort of like David Foster is or Quincy Jones. This guy did it, and he could teach me all the runs. So in 2 weeks, we learned 50 songs. We joined the Musicians Union. We're making $17 an hour, which was like beyond phenomenal because the average pay was less than $1 an hour for most people. So we're making a fortune. But then all of a sudden, I'm interviewing all the other bands and what they do. And I saw you could do a thing called Sock Hops. And we rented in Waukegan, Illinois, JFK Hall. And it didn't cost, but I think it cost $500, which was exorbitant. And Killer and I were the only ones that put up $250 each, so we split the money. I got my older brothers to be the doormen and charge $5 each. We were making, after all expenses, over $5,000 a night, and we advertised in a little school paper. And for me, it was Waukegan Township High School paper. We'd get a full-page ad for $50, and it was a risk. Maybe nobody would show up and we'd lose $500 or $600, which was giant money back then. But on the other side, I was making more in one night than my dad made in 1 year. And it was exciting. And we got a car, we had a motorcycle. Like I said, we bought scuba equipment. We went diving. We got to travel. We booked ourselves absolutely everywhere. And the band had the name The Messengers. My wife, Crystal, says that is prophetic, because you spent your life as a messenger, as a speaker, as a writer, and now as a publisher. You are always delivering messages that impact other people's lives.